What's going on, guys? PlayBox here. We're back for another Dragon Ball Legends video. In this video, I want to be discussing about Zenkai units. So for those of you who don't know what Zenkai, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Zenkai units are. They released, I think it was around 2019 going into 2020 with the first set of Zenkai units, which was, if I can find it, this Goku, this Broly, and Beerus. So those are the first set of Zenkai units. Basically, for those of you who don't know what Zenkais are our way to boost older units by giving them stat changes and changes to their uniques to make them somewhat modern to be able to be runnable again, right? Since most of these units are outdated and can't be run in PvP, right? So I'm just real quick, Zamasu be the top of this list, overtaking Super Saiyan 3. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, what I want to discuss about is Zenkai units, because over the past year and a half, I would say mainly a year, not actually a year and a half, they've been a pretty big part of PvP, right? When they first released, they were very exclusive because so right now, obviously Zenkais are free, but when they first dropped, so when these units first dropped, they were costing around 21,000 Chrono Crystals to fully Zenkai them to Zenkai 7. And this continued on for around 6 months until the until the second anniversary ended. And then we got or I would say the midway, actually near the end of the second anniversary, we got this Trunks. And he was the first one to implement the new price for Zenkais, which was 7k or 6 to 7k depending on if you get lucky or not, right? So that was pretty much the price for Zenkais moving forward until just recently with I think it was a Super Vegeta, where the price was still 7k, but you were given missions where you can get them to Zenkai 2 for completely free. And then now recently with Janemba and Zamasu, and moving forward, we're getting them completely free through the Battle Gauntlet. So you don't need to spend a single CC on them. You'll get them to Zenkai 7 completely free. Granted, you have them at 7 stars, but you still get the Awakening Z power for them whenever you do get them to 7 stars. Also, one thing to note is that with a lot of these Zenkai units, they had the older Zenkai units, the first ones, they also had friendship missions where you can get them to friendship rank 10, and once you get them to Zenkai 1 for free. So they removed that, I think, around when Trunks dropped, and moving forward, they went with that 7k until recently. And also, one thing to note again is that all LF Zenkais were completely free, with the exception of Beerus. So then this Gohan, this Goku, the Super Saiyan Namek Goku were all free moving forward, even now through USDR. And they also were dropping with the USDR revamp. They dropped Zenkais in the shop where you can get them completely free as well in the order of their release. They're currently at Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I don't know who's next. Maybe I think it was Super Gogeta or something like that. I don't know, but it is what it is. So I want to talk about Zenkais because they've kind of changed from when they were prior. So if we take a look at Beerus, right? When he dropped, he was the undisputed best unit in the game, and it wasn't even close. Like, the difference between him and the second best unit was so big that, like, dude, this guy was stupid. His blast cards were destroying purple units. He was destroying everyone with like 2 blast cards, and it was pretty insane. But not a lot of people have him because he was, first of all, a LF unit, and you needed him at 7 stars, and you needed to spend 21k crystals. So a lot of like Zenkais wasn't really a big problem until like this end of the second anniversary, because first of all, they wouldn't drop them very regularly. They would get them like maybe once every 2-3 months. We got this Cooler, we got the Goku Black, we got this Boo. They wouldn't drop them very often. We got the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So it wasn't really that big of a problem. And like, even though like they were dropping them often, not a lot of people were getting them because they're only 21k. They were actually not only, they were 21k CC to fully Zenkai. So a lot of people only had them at Zenkai 1. This Fat Boo at Zenkai 1 was very, very good. He was probably the best Zenkai unit at Zenkai 1. Like, it was pretty damn drastic. But not a lot of people had them at Zenkai 7. So no one really minded that these units were that strong because not a lot of people would have them. So it wasn't that big of an issue, right? Fast forward to the end of the second anniversary, and we got the Trunks, the red Trunks, and he wasn't a very good. He was like decent, not very good. Not a lot of people spent 7k CC to get him, so it wasn't that big of a deal. The cell was also not that. It was okay, but the revival cell was much better. And then it started. I don't know who it started with. I think it started with this guy right here. So LF Gohan, when he dropped his Zenkai. So this was the first LF Zenkai post after Beerus, right? And we all know Beerus was the best unit in the game when he dropped. So this was the second LF that was dropping that was getting a Zenkai, and he was the undisputed best unit in the game, and like it wasn't even close. Similar to when Beerus dropped, this Gohan was stupid, right? And then following this Gohan, we got units like Android 18, who was the best, second best unit in the game. Then we got Bardock. Then we got Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Then we got this Namek Goku. Then we got Gogeta. Like, they were dropping very, very strong Zenkai units back to back to back. And it was... People were... You could argue that these units were more free-to-play friendly because you can just spend the 7k CC to get a guaranteed supremely strong unit instead of just wasting 7k on a banner and getting a unit that might or might not be as good. And the main reason these units were good is because they were, well, they had updated uniques, which is good, but it was mainly because of their stats. They have monstrous stats. Like, if you compare this Gohan to what he was before, like, this is, okay, so 14 stars, 5,000, 264, 278, that's actually a lot of blast attack. You bump it up, he's almost at 300k blast attack and 191, 188, 89 defense for a range-based unit. Like, modern day defense units don't even get this type of defensive stat. Like, it's actually pretty crazy. And so this kind of went into, so for the past year, leading up to the third anniversary, like, the meta was just completely ruled by Zenkai units. Like, if your team didn't have any Zenkai units, you're gonna struggle a lot in PvP, and it was something that not a lot of people liked, myself included, because it kind of removed from the summoning aspect of the game. Because why would you want to summon for new units when they were just going to be completely shit on by Zenkai units, right? So the game was in a very, I would say, a pretty bad state. It was good for free-to-play units, but it kind of ruined the core essence of this game, which was summoning and the thrill of summoning. Like, you know, you get shafted in that, but when you get the unit you want, it's pretty, like, exciting, right? And that kind of ruined that aspect of the game, which is it's pretty weird, because as the developer of the game, you would want people to summon for your new units, right? So I don't know why they would make the Zenkai units so much stronger than all the new units. So I don't know. For a year this was going on where Zenkais were pretty overpowered and stuff like that. And then we're closing in on the second anniversary. We just got like the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Goku, super good Zenkai units, and Super 17, very good Zenkai units. So we got those units back to back to back. And then going into the second anniversary, they dropped the LF units, and every year during the anniversary, we always got the main headlining units were always the best unit in the game, and that didn't happen in this case with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Zamasu, because Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was still the best unit in the game. Like, they were nowhere near this guy, even being the headlining anniversary unit. So a lot of people were disappointed, because, you know, they thought like the third anniversary was going to bring some new changes to the game where new units were going to be good again, but it didn't. That wasn't the case until part 2 of the anniversary, where they dropped Revival Gohan and complete shat on part 1 units, but it is what it is. But from the start of the third anniversary to now, there's been a pretty drastic change in Zenkai units. So for example, this Gogeta was dropped during the anniversary, and I mean, he's good. He's definitely a good unit, mainly because of his transforming stats are very high. Like, I think they're up to like 300 maybe if we fully max them out. Blast attack. So okay, wait. Oh, they don't show the transformation stats on the Legend space, but it's pretty high. Like, base stats 268. Like, that's pretty high. So moving forward with this Gogeta, we were getting Zenkai units that were like pretty bland. Like they weren't that crazy. Like we were so used to getting Zenkai units that are just complete core on their units the second they drop. And this Gogeta, like he wasn't even like a top pick compared to Vegito. Like you'd still run Vegito on Fusion Warriors compared to this guy. So it was pretty weird to see because it was the first time that happened. And then moving forward, I forgot who Zenkai after him. I think it wasn't Kaba. I don't know who Zenkai after him actually. I think it was this Piccolo actually. This Piccolo dropped, was good for 2 days, and then completely forgotten, right? Then after him, I think after him was Kaba. Kaba dropped. Oh yeah, this red Goku dropped after Gogeta. Dropped. He was good for maybe 2 seconds, and then no one used him. Complete trash. Kaba dropped, no one used him. Super Vegeta dropped, no one used him. So they've been consistently dropping these Zenkai units where they just boost the stats and they call it a day, and that's it. They're barely, like, they're not even that great. They're barely usable, to be honest. And then we got this Janemba, who's actually decent, and then we got the Zamasu, who's actually very good. But I would say Zamasu is an exception to this case, because Zamasu's kit was already pretty good. Like, he was already a decent unit prior to Zenkai. He was doing some good blast damage, and all he needed was pretty much a stat boost, and that's pretty much what they gave me, because they didn't touch his uniques at all. So I would say Zamasu is an exception to the other units, because all he needed was a stat boost, and the Zenkais were automatically going to give these guys a stat boost. So with that stat boost, he's now a very, very good unit. But the point I'm trying to make is, like, Zenkais have become so, like, kind of almost useless in a case, which I kind of like, because we don't want the Zenkais to drop and them being the main options on their team. Zenkais should be a way to make older units somewhat relevant again, but not the main option on the team. They should be secondary to any new units that drop, and that wasn't the case for the past year. Like the Zenkais that were dropping, they were mainstays on their team. They were the core and stuff, and that wasn't how that wasn't how Zenkai should have been. And now moving forward, I think this is a good step, a good way they're doing it, where the Zenkais are just secondary options to teams, and them making them free again. Like, well, not again, but making them free is also a really, really good change. So the current state of these Zenkai units are perfect the way they are. The one thing that I'm kind of I don't fully agree on is that they make some of these Zenkais a bit too useless. So for example, I'm gonna take Zamasu as an example, because this is like the point I want to try to prove, like argue, is that what they did to the Zamasu is completely, like, they shouldn't be doing Zenkais like Zamasu. It only worked out for Zamasu because he was already decent prior to Zenkai. If he was trash before that and they did the same thing they did, he wasn't gonna see any play. But the reason he was already pretty decent prior to Zenkai and then post Zenkai made him very good is because all he needed was a stat buff and they gave it to him. I would have rather them waiting on his Zenkai and then actually changing a bit in his kit and the stat change, of course, and that would make him a much more newer unit, because these past few Zenkais have just been stat buffs, and they need more. Like, these units need more than just a stat buff. They need actual changes to their kit, like big changes, because a lot of these units just have like one-liners as their like unique ability. If you take this Piccolo, for example, like, this is his unique ability. Like, what did they do post Zenkai? They actually just kept it that way. They do give them 2 new uniques, but they should still change their pre-existing uniques. Like, I get, like, they don't want to make them strong again, which I completely agree. I don't want them to be like super strong again, but they should still, like, somewhat like change their kits to make them somewhat more modern, in addition to the stat buff. I don't think the stat buff should be that monstrous where it overlaps completely all the new units, but they should still make them somewhat reasonable, because I mean, just giving them a stat change is no changes to their actual unique. I kind of feel that's like a useless Zenkai in my opinion. but it is what it is. A lot of people would disagree with me, but I don't know. I just feel like they should kind of change their kit around and not just the stat change. Like, don't get me wrong, I still completely think that this is the way to go with Zenkai's. Like, don't think I want them to go back to how it was before, because I didn't like that at all. Like, Zenkai's this way are perfectly good because new units have to shine the most, and that should be their main focus moving forward with this game. I just hope they don't do my boy Super Vegito like I hope they do him justice, because everyone's been waiting for that guy's Zenkai, and a lot of people want him to be the best unit in the game because they're tired of seeing this piece of shit everywhere. But I don't know. Hopefully moving forward, hopefully this upcoming Legends Festival really changes up like the meta and introduce some new top units in the game, because I'm pretty sure I can speak for everyone to say that this dude has been in Z tier for too long. He's been in Z tier for over a year as the undisputed #1 unit in the game, and it's starting to piss me off. And I want to see new change with these newer units. So hopefully that's gonna happen in the upcoming Legends Festival. So it's kind of a longer video, but hope you guys still enjoyed this video, this small little discussion. Drop a comment letting me know what your thoughts are on newer Zenkais and whether you like them or not. Just let me know in the comments. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe, because that shit is so important, so don't forget. I don't know, have a great day. See ya.